maybe later on, if you need the video, so you can also contact with Kanza, so she can also give you the video of this course later on. Okay.
Okay. Did you say, what did you say?
I said I am recording the video for this session. Okay.
Okay.
This is as per our company policy, we record the video of each session. So later on, if the student needs the video as well, so we can provide the video to him. Okay.
Okay, I can get in touch with Kanza. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. We can get in touch with Kanza.
Okay.
Okay. So let's start the session. You know, from Kanza, you also know it's written there. My name is Ubaidur Rahman, and I have like 16 to 17 years experience in IT field. I have worked with different organizations in different countries. During this tenure, I have served. I have been assigned different roles throughout my career. Actually, ERP is one of my major area where I have worked in the last 16 or 17 years. So I have done a lot of ERP implementation and customization projects. During these projects, I have been involved in almost, you can say, every phase of the project, starting from pre-sale, then making the proposals. Once the project is awarded, then kick-off meetings, conducting the CRP sessions, requirement gathering sessions, making business blueprints, a gap analysis, user trainings, post implementation support, and these type of, every phase of this project I have worked in. Okay, so today our session is on one of the very important phase of the software life cycle design. And since you are already very much familiar with this software life cycle design, SDLC, but in fact, what we are going to cover today is, it is also known as STLC, software test life cycle design. So this phase is called the acceptance test. So today we will discuss on this. I will give you a brief overview in this whole course, and what is this UAT and what are the different phases and how we do it and all this type of. Okay, during this session, at any time you can ask me the question, and I would prefer that to make this session live. It is always a good idea to put the question as much as it is with you. Okay, so in the start, so let's look at the contents of the course, what we are going to cover today.
Okay.
You can also, maybe you have also received this the contents of the course. So here, what is that we will see in the unit 1, we will see what is the brief introduction of the user acceptance testing, or like what is the UAT, what is the testing process, outcomes of the user acceptance testing, prerequisites, then what to test and how to test. This is, and we will see some real world example. So we will see some use cases for the real world example. Then what is the UAT planning process? We will learn about it. Testing strategy, then what are the key focus areas? Then how to select the team for the UAT, performing like in-person or online UAT. Then random testing, what is this? And we will see everything for this. Then in the unit 3, we will be looking at the issue, defects or issue logging and fixing. The more focus will be on the logging of the issues, all the defects and issues logging. So in this section, we will see how we log the issues or defects. Then how we do this retesting unless the defects are closed. And we will learn about something testing tools which are used for the UAT as well. Then in the unit 4, we will see the key deliverables of the UAT, like the test plan, test script, UAT cases, negative testing, how it is done. Then we will see like different timelines. What is this green, yellow, red status of the defects, and what are the different severity levels of this. And in the last, we will look into it, that what are the different roles and responsibilities in UAT, or like who is the program manager, project manager, business owner, business analyst, and the people who will be doing this UAT test. Okay. So these are the contents which we are going to cover in most probably in next, including this session. In next 3 sessions, hopefully we will cover all these contents. Okay. So Lara, before to start this session, let me put some questions before you. Just like suppose I mean, would you trust a completely automated nuclear power plant? Okay, this is a question that would you trust a completely automated nuclear power plant? Now look at, just imagine how sensitive is the nuclear power plant, and also keep in mind the very recent accident of the power plant, which was the Chernobyl in Russia. So you see, if you came to know that this is totally automated nuclear power plant, so would you still be trusting? Later on, we will see the answers of these questions as well. Now, would you trust a completely automated pilot? Suppose now you are sitting in a plane, and you came to know that this plane is going on automated pilot. So would you still be dare to sit in that plane? Now the question here is, what if the software of this automated pilot was written by you? Still, you will trust to fly with this plane, and there can be another scenario. Maybe the software was written by one of your colleague. So then, what will you do? You will, I mean, would you trust your colleague that okay, no, he has done a good job, or maybe it will work fine? Then, would you dare to write an expert system to diagnose cancer? Now look at it. You know, the cancer. What if you are personally, I mean, held liable to in case a patient dies just because of the malfunctioning of the software? So how sensitive is this area? So actually, these 3 questions are actually showing. Even if you are going to develop some very extreme level software or programs, then how will you be able to trust all those things? Okay, so now here, what is the user acceptance test? User acceptance test says, you know, um, this is the process of verifying that like any created solution or the software, it works for the user. It is actually UAT focuses on the user. I'm sorry, Lara, but actually there is a lot of sound coming from your side.
Okay, just a second. Let me get rid of. Should I just mute for now?
Yeah, please mute it, and whenever if there will be any answer, so sorry, if there will be any question, you can please
okay,
unmute.
I'll just unmute. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I'm trying to mute. I don't. Oh, sorry, it's my.
Okay, so as I was saying that this user acceptance test, actually because you can see even from the name, it focuses on the user. So actually this is the process for to verifying that the created solution or the software, it works for the user. You told me that already you are doing the system testing, but again, in the system testing, there is a different methodology, there is different approach to test the system, because you are doing these tests from different perspectives. Like in the system testing, you check for you put a lot of stress on the system, and then there are the coding mechanism, the coding standards, and all the different standards which are I mean have this, the programs have he followed everything. So this type of test you are doing in the system testing. But when it comes to user acceptance testing, so the main focus of this test is that whatever you have created, whatever the software or the solution we have created, it actually works for user. It might sound easy enough. I mean that okay, this is only the user acceptances, but I'm telling you in practical or in practice, it is not as easy or it is not as simple. During that actual software user, they test the software. I mean, it's not something which is related to QC users or some other user. The main person who are doing this test is the user, the actual user, who will be later on to using the. I mean, they will be using the software. So during the UAT, the actual user, the actual software user, they test the software to make sure that it can handle the required tasks in the real world scenarios, and whatever as per the specification was given to the development team. Since it is it is also known as a beta or the end user testing. So this is the actually this is the last or final phase. So this testing is done on the final and the last phase. Once all the functional system and regression testing, once it has been completed, so after then we do this user acceptance testing. So it is like when it is performed. So whenever once we complete our functional integration system and all other type of testing, once it is done, so at that time the user acceptance testing is performed. So you can see a very simple SDLC, the software development lifecycle, where the first phase is the development, the second is QA, from where you actually belongs to. And once it is the software is passed from the QA, then before going to the production, we send the software or the solution to the users so that they can make a UAT. And after then, once they accept the solution, so after then we can say that now the system is ready for the production. We will just quickly, we will see what type of acceptance testings are there. Just like there is a, alpha testing which take place in the development environment. And it normally it is, it is done by the internal staff. It is called alpha testing. Then we have a beta testing as well. There is a slightly difference between alpha and beta testing. Like alpha testing is done in the like in the same you can say in the environment where the test has been developed, while the beta test
is alpha testing also a form of UAT?
Yes, it is a, you can say the alpha testing is, you can also say a subset of UAT. Okay, so normally but it is the one of the main differences that it is not done by the actual users. It is done by the internal staff, after once the system testing is done, so after then they just do like the people who are working in that software company or the software department, they do the testing by themselves. After then alpha testing, it comes to, there is another testing which is called the beta testing, which is also, you can say, there is another famous name for this testing is called field testing. Normally this test take place in customers environment, and it involves you can say some extensive testing by the group of customer. And this time the people or the users who are doing the testing, again they are not the end user, but yes, they are also called the super user. They do the testing of this software. Then we have the bad testing, business acceptance testing. And the business acceptance testing
sorry, I think I have to stop you a bit.
yes.
The alpha testing is done by users, but it's done at the developer side. Is that right?
Alpha testing is done by the users, but these users are from the same department or from the same company who are developing the software, who develop the software. Okay, but the beta testing
and
is
the
done.
Beta testing?
Yeah, it is done by the super user from those departments who will be using this software.
Okay.
Okay. So after then this bad testing, like this business acceptance testing, it mainly focuses on business benefits. This bad testing, actually, it mainly focuses on business benefits. Just like one of the major benefit for the business, it is known as the financials, like finances. which are quite challenging due to the changing market condition technologies. So that the current implementation, sometimes it may have to undergo changes which result into extra budget. Sometimes due to the change in the technology, so they have to go, or they have to adopt a different new technology. And so once they are going to adopt another technology or going, so it needs extra budget. So for this business acceptance testing is actually done. I mean, the mechanism of this business acceptance testing is that it is done in such a way that the main focus is how much it will affect our financials from cost point of view. Sometime the product, it can pass the technical requirement, but still it can fail VAT due to this again financial reasons. Then we have CAT, contract acceptance testing. As it is clearly shows from the name that once the contract is signed between the two parties, the one who will be developing the solution and the one who will be using the solution. So once there is an initial contract, it is done between the two parties. So normally this contract, when we do this testing, we do this testing totally on the basis of the contract. Whatever the clauses of the test, so it is done as per the clauses of the contract between the two parties. Then we have the regulation acceptance testing. This is which is known also as a RAT. In the regulation acceptance testing, normally we test the software whether the software complies with the regulations. Okay, normally these regulations include governmental and the legal point of view. From this point of view, then we have another testing which is called OAT, operational acceptance testing. It is also very near to the you can say the UAT. Generally, I mean, you can say it is actually known as the readiness testing or the production acceptance testing. I mean, these test case ensure that the workflow which have been which has been in place into the system, I mean, they will work 100% properly. All the workflows and all other things. So actually, before the user acceptance testing, this you can say in the QC department, this is one of the last testing which is done there, so that they know that all the workflows which have been used there, they are working perfectly. Then we have some very famous black box testing, which is often categorized also as a functional testing, but up to you can say to some extent we can also say it's also a user acceptance testing up to some extent. Actually, it's a method of software testing.
Black box testing, I think, is system testing. Is that?
Yeah.
Testing
it is the system testing, but somehow it is very much you can say it is near to user acceptance testing in a way that during the black box testing, normally it has the same principle. It has the same principle as of the UAT. Okay, in this method, the software testing, I mean, you can say this is a method of the software testing which analyzes certain functionalities without letting the testers to see the internal code structure on all these things. So this is the black box. I mean, it is done by the QC staff or the system who has done the system testing, regression testing. But in the black box testing, they are not focusing on the coding. They are just focusing on the functionality of the system.
I thought that should have been covered in during system testing, the black box.
Yes.
So do we still classify that as UAT, black box testing? I may be confused with that.
No, actually, let me tell you, black box testing, as I told you, there is a black box testing, there is a yellow box testing, and then there is a white box testing. Actually, these are three different type of testing there. And again, actually, this is the part of the QC department, this black box testing. During the black box testing, as I told you, what is the method? I mean, how we do the black box testing? Actually, it's a method of the software testing which analyze certain functionalities but without
Yeah.
without checking the or without letting the internal code structure. I mean, he in this area he's again just like you in UAT. The in the
Yeah.
UAT the user is not checking the code of the of this program. In the UAT, the user is just checking the functionality of the software. The similarly black box testing is also in the same way, but the major difference is the UAT is done by the user while the black box testing is done by the QC team.
Okay, that's clear. Thank you.
Okay. So now we'll see that who performs this UAT. You can say this could be either someone who is you can say who is buying the product. Uh, so UAT team is generally, you can say, it's a good representation of the real world end users. This is the UAT team. So most of the time it is completed by the client and the end user to validate all, or if not all, then most of the area is normally it is tested by the during the UAT. You know, sometimes the software is so big or there are a lot of functionalities are there. So sometimes maybe it is not possible to test every single thing of the software by the which has already been tested by the QC team. But still, in the UAT, you can say at least 60% of the software is tested during the UAT. The users, who are the users that who will be using? Actually, these are the individuals who will be using the application. I mean, UAT is done by those users actually who will be using this application. Okay, so sometime UAT team it can be it can be involved like beta testers or custom should select UAT members internally from every group of organization. You can say so that each user role can be tested accordingly. But the main or the most important thing is it should not made up of any IT or technical team. Like during the UAT,
So what's the difference between the clients and the end users? I thought they are both the same.
both the same. They both are the same. Client
Okay.
or this end user, both are the same. I mean, the main important is it during UAT we should not involve technical team at all in the user in UAT. Okay. Okay, so I mean, now the question arises: UAT really necessary? So here, actually speaking, this is the most important phase of the project. So I mean, or you can say this is the time.
Sorry, who are the beta testers? Who are the beta testers?
Beta tester. Actually, the beta testers are there are whenever any, or if you are familiar with the iPhone strategy, actually what they do when any new company, just like these mobile phone companies or these Android or iOS companies like Apple, what they do, they first they release their product, or like suppose if iPhone is going to release another version of their iOS, so what they do, they do not immediately they do not throw this product into the market. First they do the beta testing. The beta testing for the what is the beta testing? All over the world they they call for the testers. These are called beta testers, so they give them the software to test it for their purpose, and this is normally free of cost. Okay, but there is there is in order to participate in beta testing, there is a criteria that how they will select these beta testers. So the beta testers are those testers which you can say they will test the complete software, okay, on actual basis. So once they will test it from everywhere and they identify the errors to the team, they are not, you cannot say that beta testers are not those test they are not those users who actually will purchase this product. Okay, suppose you want to be a beta tester of iPhone, like for iPhone operating system iOS. So what will you do? You will register yourself here in the at Apple. You will register there as a beta tester. So what they will do, whenever they will release any new functionality or any new version of the iOS, so you will be eligible to download it on in your cell phone, okay, in your Apple phone. and then you can use this product. But again, you cannot complain because Apple did not sell you this product. You voluntarily you are using this product for testing purpose. And iPhone or Apple company, what they will do after you, maybe after certain time, maybe after 1 month or 2 weeks or whatever their time. So after that time, they will get the feedback from all the beta users that how was our product. So once the beta users, once they confirm that okay, the product is going good, or also they can identify some errors. So after then, what they do, they put it in the market so that the users can purchase this product. So this is actually the beta testers.
Okay, so they're like people who help with them. What's it called? When I think I have an idea when they're about to they use them. I've forgotten the word when they put them in a like a I've forgotten the word now. When they put users together to come and do like a run, a trial run before they actually send it out to the market.
Yes, yeah. I mean, before actually selling it to the market, they send it to their to them to test it from the from them, and then once they test it.
Okay, I understand. Okay, and that testing is done at the customer side.
Yeah, that is done at the customer side. Okay, so as we will see that is it UAT is really is it necessary? So this is the most important phase of the project, and this is the time which the users who are actually going to use the system, they would validate the system for it fit to purpose. So that's why if before to use them, before to give it to to all over the world, so it is always good idea to give this software to a bunch of users so that they can test it there and they can give you a good picture or better picture if there is any. Because from even from the marketing point of view, suppose you are selling something and now your product is there, and now users who are the actual user, like the customers, if they are facing the problem on your website, so from marketing perspective, you will see the company will face a lot, because they will lose a lot of market from it, because this will be a bad impact on the company prestige. So it is always it is always best idea to validate the software from the end user, so that the end user they will validate it, that they will let us know that whether it is fit to purpose or not. So in this, it is a test phase that largely depends on the perspective of the end users and the domain knowledge, particularly of a department that represent the end users. So after the system testing, the load testing, integration testing, regression testing, these are very important tests for the software, but they have their own purpose, a different purpose. But in the UAT test phase, it largely depends upon the perspective of the end users and the domain knowledge of the department. Now look at here. During during the software development or during any project development, you will see some sort of you see from this example, you can see someone has developed this track, how it is developed. We will see some interesting fact about this later on. Now you can see what is this, whether it is a failure, whether it is an error, or whether it is a fault. So we will categorize it. What is this actually? Now you see, once a train is coming, so what we say is it is called an error state. That what the train will do once it will reach to this point. So sometime we will be thinking that whether it was some algorithm fault, whether it was some mechanical fault. Okay, so we will see the answers to these questions in the later slides. So let's move on to the operations. We will see that what are the operations in the UAT. So I think it's best to first let's see a real test case, a real time scenario, okay, for a product that this is I'm going to show you a purchasing product. And suppose you have developed a purchasing product, okay, and now so it is going for the UAT. So we will see that what can we do, or what type of UAT we will do with this purchasing product. Test number one. The test number one, it is about product details. Okay, so it will verify if the user is able to view the product detail page, view all the subsections in the product detail page, just description like feature, brand, information. Similarly, whether the user is able to select the quantity of the product, color, size as available in the product detail pages. Then whether the user is able to navigate the category, subcategory pages from the product detail page, and if available in the product detail page as well. Then whether the user is able to navigate to other product detail pages if it is provided by the relevant product section. Then the view comment, if he can view the comments and rating on the product, then if he's whether he's able to sort comments of the product based on the rating, whether he's able to view the overall rating of the product, he can add comments on the product, he can update his or her comments on the product, or he can delete his or her comments on the product if it is the deletion option is provided. So this is the test one. Then the test two, suppose it is about the add to cart functionality. So in this test, what we will do, whether the user is able to add the product to the cart through the product detail page or through the product list page, whether the user is able to add required quantity to the cart, suppose starting from 1 to maximum limit, whatever the limit is set. And also the most important, whether the user, we have to verify if the user is not able to add the product to the cart if it is out of stock. And this last is called the negative testing. Then another test in the cart page, verify if the user is able to view the product in the cart with price details for added quantity, whether he's able to update the quantity, remove the product from the cart, navigate back to shopping, continue to checkout, view empty cart when no product is ready. Now look here, in these three tests, you see how precisely they have written the points. At how, this is for the end user. Like the end user will do this function. He will test this software, and he will just these are all the tests which the end user will do. Okay, this in one test number two, test number three. Then also there is a test number four, like in the account detail page, whether the user is whether he's able to continue with the existing shipping details, update shipping address, add new shipping address, continue with the existing phone number, update phone number, new phone number, adding a new phone number to the order, navigate back to the cart page or navigate to the payment page. Then on the payment page, whether the user is able to verify the correctness of the amount to be billed, process the order with all available option, just like one option for each separate order. Similarly, whether he's able to process the transaction successfully, can go to the confirmation page. In case of transaction failure, even though this is a negative testing again, it should be considered as a major failure scenario. Apply coupon, whether if there is the product is offering some coupon options, so whether the user is able to apply the coupons. So what will happen, like in case of valid coupon, there should be success, and in case of success, the amount of the bill should be changed. In case of invalid coupon, there should be failure, that like there should not be any change in the amount. Similarly, in case of expired coupon, there should be failure, like there should not be any change in the amount. Then navigate back to the account detail page. Now again, I told you, look here how precisely they have written all these points. So maybe we will see that how in the same way, how precisely, how can we write all these points. If we are going to conduct a UAT, suppose I am the program manager or I am the project manager for a UAT. So how will I be able to write all these type of points so precisely? In the later slides, I will show you that what is the role of everyone, and who will actually write these type of scripts or these type of questions and what will be keeping in mind, and every from all aspects. So this is the first thing, is that these are the like 5 tests. This is the one section that he has precisely written uh, uh, the points. The second phase is the logging of these results. This is like one of that format, you can say, just like the feature module. In this format, he is a login of the page. This is the one of the feature. So test, what is the description? A registered user should successfully log into vendor site. And precondition, the user should be registered or having a user ID and password. So what are the different steps? Like step number 1, open vendor login page. Then step number 2 is enter user ID. Step number 3 is enter password. Step number 4 is select button, enter button, and expected result is also there. So up to this point, the one who will be conducting the UAT, he should be able to write this type of formats and this type of points so precisely that, like in this case, what will be the expected result? Like in case of open vendor login page, so the vendor login launch screen should be displayed. Similarly, in case of enter user ID should be correct. Similarly, the password should be correct, and all mandatory fields validated, and user is successfully logged into the vendor launch site. So these are the expected
Yeah.
results. So on
Okay, there is nothing linking it to the requirements. If they have a requirement, how on these law.
like which requirements?
You know, if vendor wants to log, like, okay, in the case of the user ID, okay, we wrote down, no, there's the business requirement next to it. Okay, I've seen it.
Okay, but I will show you in the
Yeah.
later stages. I will cover everything from this UAT that, I mean, these are only one of the real time example or real time scenario I was showing to you. It's like some different type of tests, and then different formats of this type of Excel sheet, the log results. Okay, so this is the picture on one side, that how precisely we will write all these points, and we will log the results. Now what happens on the ground? I mean, let me tell you one of the ground reality. Now look here, this is a story of someone like you, who is a system tester and who is a developer. So look what he's saying. He's saying that I have a lot of experience in acceptance testing flight simulators. Most customers expect us to write the acceptance test, which we call FEP, like formal qualification testing. So they agree on the tests and watches us to do the test, which can take like from 1 to 3 weeks. In addition, they have a few days of a free flight in which they exercise the simulator uh, capabilities. This, of course, is a big headache. Like, what do you do when the customers pilots say this doesn't fly quite right? So still, it is usually the customer's final acceptance of the system. So you see, he's sharing his real-time experience. He's saying that the customer, they comes to him himself, and they tell him to develop the software for them, and also they demand from them to write the acceptance test as well for. So that means that the same company who will develop the software, the same company will make or the same team, they will write the acceptance test for them. So in this area, the customer specifications are often quite shortly. Say, I need a flight simulator. I mean, this is normally in case of customer, like I need a flight simulator to train the emergency procedure and instrument flight trials on the following aircraft. Now I am expected to analyze the requirements and write the requirements myself, because the customer will shortly, within in one sentence, he will say this is my requirement. So the one who will be developing the solution, so now the customer is expecting from him to analyze the complete requirement and to write the requirement also for the customer. Now he's saying that perhaps the biggest problem here is that the customer is not the user. The users are the pilots, while the customer could be, say, it could be American Airlines or the Chinese Air Force staff person that pay the money. So this actually, it is showing that how important is the user involvement not only in the user acceptance test, because this is the last step. Also in the requirement phase, when if there is a requirement in the or to going for a new solution. So for this, there is a there is a requirement gathering test is also done before to develop the software or before to go for the solution. So we should also involve the user in this area, because here you see the programmer, he is telling by his experience that the biggest problem here is the customer. He's not coming to him. Only the company representative are coming to them and they are saying that okay, we need the solution. It will be a good idea if they can bring the pilot with them, so that the pilot, the one who will actually be using the software, so they will tell them the clear, exact and the clear picture. So all in all, using XP in this area is very hard. I found, using extreme programming in this area is saying it is very hard. So I have found the best method is to fake it. On the one side, we have a formal contract with the customer, like big design upfront and all that. And on the other hand, I try and act as a customer and steer the project to where I think it should go. So he's saying that I write the stories, I write the acceptance test, priorities, etc., and everything, but the customer sees none of this. So this is also called ready-made, at 100% ready-made solution where everything has been done on outsource basis. This is also one of the model, and we will discuss this in later on in the methodology of our UAT testing. So, but this, what was a idea to share this story with you is just to let you know that on one side we are looking on these precisely written the steps of the test, but on the other hand we are also sharing that actually what happens on ground. Okay, so Lara, I think what do you say? Now it's almost 1 hour. So can we? Because the introduction phase has been done, now the concept is it's now a full. I believe that there will be like full one session on this concept area, because I cannot break it in between the concept area, and it will take maybe more than 1 hour. This concept area. Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, what did you say, Bed? I didn't quite get that.
I said that so far we have just covered this introduction of this UAT and some real time, one of the real time example, and some on real time based story. So this was you can say up to some extent introduction part has been done for this. Now this concept area, actually it will take like around 70 or 80 minutes. This will take this concept area.
Okay. Will there be any exercise in this? Would there be any form of exercise or group work or anything?
Not exactly. I mean, Google, it's a very good bookwork. By the way, after the session, after the course, we will share you the complete notes and the videos we will share with you. Okay.
Okay.
But what my idea is we will start the concepts tomorrow, because I cannot break this concept in between. If I will
continue. That's fine. Okay. That's fine. Let's get on with it. Yeah.
So I think let's resume the remaining session from tomorrow. We will start from the concept, okay, and hopefully we will complete the concept and some methodology area.
Oh, you don't want us to continue anymore? Hold on.
Yeah, because now it's around 1 hour, almost 45 or 50 minutes, and this will take around 70 minutes. It will take 70 minutes.
But I thought we were doing 2 hours today. I thought we were doing 2 hours today. That's my understanding.
No, actually, we have split the course into three sessions now. So each, okay, the second and third session will be more extensive. Like tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, it will be because day after tomorrow there will be some Q&A session.
Is there any exercise or notes that you're going to send to me today? Because we haven't really covered much today.
Today we have just covered the introduction area only. Only the introduction area, because there are many. What I'm saying that if I will start the concept, so I cannot break this.
Break
I
it.
have to continue.
You can't break it. You
During
can't
the
break the concept. You said if you start the concept, you have to finish it. It's a long
yeah.
it's a big topic. So
This is
how many hours are we doing tomorrow?
so I'm saying that let's start the concept tomorrow. I mean, with the fresh with everything now, because now the basic concept has
Yeah,
been.
how many hours? How many hours I was under the impression we're doing 2 hours today. That's
Oh,
my understanding.
actually, sorry,
I don't
today
know.
it was only today was I've been told that it like 1 hour or in the start
Okay.
actually some time was wasted during this.
Okay, can you, since you finished that, can we just go through this ground reality again? I really don't understand it very
Sure.
much.
Okay.
Can
Okay.
we go to the ground reality again?
Okay. In the ground reality, you see it is.
Yeah.
This is one of the real-time story of one of the tester and programmer. Okay? So what he's saying that I have a lot of experience in the acceptance testing flight simulators. So
Yeah.
most customers they expect us to write the acceptance test or formal qualification test. They agree on the test and watch us do the tests, which can take from 1 to 3 weeks. Like in this mode, you can say the customer is asking them to create the acceptance testing also for them. I mean, the same company they are doing they are making the flight simulators, and the same team or the same company they are also making the acceptance tests, and even they are doing this acceptance testing for them.
So
So
what you're saying is the people who developed that are also doing the acceptance testing for them.
yes, this is one of the
Okay.
ground reality saying that you see he's saying that in addition they what happens, first they develop the solution, after then they do the acceptance testing, and the flight or the pilots or the now the end user or from the customer side, they are just watching them, and they are just just watching them doing the acceptance testing, and on them they are saying, oh, it is like he's saying that the pilot says this doesn't fly quite right, or like this type of stuff. So what he's saying that still it is usually the customer final acceptance testing, but in this area the customer specifications are often quite short. I mean, when the customer like in the start, the customer when he give us the specification about for his like just in this case about a flight simulator. So in this case, the customers did not give the complete specification. They just going on a like very short say, I need a flight simulator to train the in emergency procedure and instrument flight trials for the following aircraft. This is what the customer said to the developer. So now what the developer is saying that the developer is expected to analyze the requirement and then write the requirement by himself. This is one of the major, like it started like even in the start phase, the developer, I mean, he's analyzing all the requirements, then he's writing the requirements which he will do by himself. First he will write the requirements of the customer, and then he will work on all these requirements, and he will develop the solution for the customer. So now what he's saying that the biggest problem here is that the customer is not the user actually. No, the someone from his purchasing department or from his management side actually they come to this solution or to this company who is developing the solution. So normally they are the users. Who's the user for this product? The user are the pilots actually who will use this product. But normally the one who came to the developer to for the development of this flight simulator, he's normally he's the staff personnel normally that like who pay the money. So what he's saying that all in all it is using XP in this area it is very hard. So he said that I have found the best method is to fake it, and on the one side we have a formal contract with the customer, and on the other hand I act as a customer, and steer the project to where I think it should go. So you see, he's the one who is developing the project, and on the other side now he is testing the project, acting like as a customer. So this is, I told you that on ground what happens, that he says that customer sees none of this. That I mean, in UAT actually, what is the purpose of this course? That we are going to, we are trying to familiar with some terminologies on the UAT, and we are going to look at how precisely we can also write all these points if we are going to be to conduct a UAT. But most of the time, what happens is what he is saying like this. This is the actual story. Most of the time, this happens in the market actually.
Okay,
Yes.
so what he's trying to say basically is users don't really get involved in the acceptance testing. They just want them to do it and pass them the results. They don't
Exactly.
really get it.
Yeah. This is actually what he's trying to say. That on ground, I
Okay.
mean, sometimes user they don't go for this acceptance testing and all this type of
Yes.
stuff. But still, you know, it is a very important, and we will see once we will go through the concept area and a complete project plan. Then I will show you that what are the points which we have to consider in order to make all the points and everything in order to conduct this UA. So
Okay.
hopefully tomorrow we will start exactly at 7:30, and I will try to finish the maximum area by tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
So do we for this course, are we going to get some like scenarios to see how we can create acceptance tests? That's the key area for me, where you will find.
Actually, actually this is just like for the shopping for a product shopping product. Okay, this is the real time scenario. I mean, where I have shown you the some
Yeah.
point. So
So
we
you
can
can use this on any of the e-commerce website. Yeah.
yeah. So similarly, it depends on like on which product you are going to conduct a UAT, and accordingly we can write all these tests.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what would they call this? Is this a business requirement, or what is this an acceptance test criteria, or what is this?
Which one?
What you have here, the real-time scenario, what is this called?
This is
Where
a
you
real
put
time,
test.
no, a real time scenario. I called it real time scenario in such a way. Actually,
Yeah, I know. Is this the actual test, or is this the requirement, or is this the acceptance criteria?
This is
What
the
is
acceptance.
this?
This is the acceptance criteria. I mean, this is, I mean,
Okay.
yeah, once the user will do the user acceptance testing. So finally, once the team will be, once they will start doing the user, so they will go and they will test all these points. Just like suppose if I am doing the user acceptance test,
Yeah.
so my manager will write all these points for me and he will give it to me. Then one by one, I will test all these points and I will
Okay.
log
So
them.
this actually is the acceptance criteria.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this actually is the acceptance criteria. So, but again, if I am going to learn this course, so I should be able to write this acceptance criteria. Okay, this is also one of the goal to for this course. In the role section where we will see the roles and responsibilities. So there we will see that what is the role of every person in this user acceptance test, and how can we, who will be doing what there. So who is responsible for development of this type of points, and what will the actual user they will do. All this is related to UAT. Okay, so Lara, hopefully tomorrow we will again we will meet together tomorrow the same time 7:30. I think it is 5:30 your time.
Yeah. What time is it in your time? I think